I never thought my life would end up like this. Broke, alone, and sitting in a one-room apartment that smells like dust and instant noodles. It had been 5 months since I lost my last job. Every rejection email felt like another nail in the coffin. When I finally saw a help wanted poster at the bus stop, I didn't even care what it was for. Red Mesa fuel stop. Night shift attendant needed. Route 66, Arizona desert. The ad looked old, yellowed around the edges, like it had been there for years. But I called anyway. A man with a gravelly voice answered. "Name's Harlan. You can start tonight if you're serious." No interview, no background check, just tonight. At that point, I would have cleaned blood off the floor if it paid. The drive out there was longer than I expected. By the time the GPS said, "You've arrived," the sun was already bleeding into the desert horizon, painting everything red and gold. And there it was, a small, dying gas station, surrounded by nothing but sand, telephone poles, and silence. One flickering neon sign buzzed weakly. Red Mesa fuel stop. The parking lot was empty, except for an old pickup truck with rust eating through the sides. That's where I met Mr. Harlan. Gray beard, deep wrinkles, and eyes that looked like they'd seen too many bad nights. "You're the new kid?" he asked, lighting a cigarette. I nodded. He handed me a clipboard, a ring of keys, and a folded piece of paper. "These," he said, tapping the paper, "are the night rules. You follow them exactly, you'll be fine." I laughed. "Rules? Like safety stuff?" He didn't laugh back. "No," he said quietly. "You'll understand. Just don't break any of them. Not even once." And with that, he got into his truck and drove off, disappearing down the empty highway until the sound of his engine faded into the wind. Inside, the gas station was small. 2 aisles of dusty snacks, a coffee machine that sounded like it was dying, and a register that beeped every time I pressed a button. I unfolded the paper he'd given me. The title read, "Rules for the Night Shift, Red Mesa Fuel Stop. 1. At 1:34 a.m., close and lock the main door. Do not open it again until 1:45, no matter who knocks. 2. At 2:30 a.m., if you hear a child's voice asking for help, lock yourself in the bathroom until 2:45. 3. At 3:15 a.m., check pump 3. If the nozzle is missing, place it back. Do not look inside the car. 4. At 4 a.m., the radio will turn on by itself. Change the station immediately. Do not listen. 5. At 4:44 a.m., you might see someone standing behind you in the reflection of the glass door. Don't turn around. Wait until it's gone. 6. If you see headlights in the distance, but hear no sound, hide under the counter until they fade." I read it twice, then snorted. What the hell kind of prank is this? Still, I taped the list beside the register, just for fun. By midnight, the desert was silent. No cars, no wind. Just the faint buzz of the fluorescent lights and my own heartbeat. At 1:33 a.m., I poured myself a cup of stale coffee and stared at the clock. At 1:34, something knocked on the glass door. Slow, heavy, then again. I froze. A woman's voice came from outside. "Hey, can you help me? Please? My car broke down." I swallowed hard. I couldn't see anyone, just the dark outline of a figure at the edge of the parking lot. My brain said, "Go help her." But my gut whispered, "Don't move." I looked at the clock again, 1:35 a.m. The first rule: close the door and don't open it until 1:45. So I waited. The knocking grew louder, then desperate. Then the voice changed. It wasn't a woman anymore. It was deeper, mocking. "Come on, Ethan. You're supposed to help people." My blood turned cold. I never told anyone my name. At 1:45, The knocking stopped. The parking lot was empty again, like nothing had ever been there. I just sat there, gripping the counter, shaking. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe someone from town messing with the new guy. But there was no town, not for miles. That was my first hour, and I had 6 more to go. After that first knock, I couldn't focus. Every sound made me flinch. The hum of the fridge, the creak of the door frame, even the buzzing sign outside. I tried to laugh it off. It's something about that voice. It wasn't just that it said my name. It sounded wrong, like a recording played backward, echoing in my skull. I told myself maybe Harlan was just messing with me. Maybe there was a speaker or something outside. That thought kept me sane for a while, until 2:30 a.m. It started with a soft tapping. Not knocking, more like someone dragging their nails across the glass. Then a sound followed, faint, muffled, coming from outside. A child's voice. "Mister, please, I lost my mom." I froze mid-breath. The rule sheet flashed in my head like a warning sign. If you hear a child's voice asking for help, lock yourself in the bathroom until 2:45. I didn't hesitate this time. I ran to the back, slammed the bathroom door shut, and locked it. The air inside felt heavy, almost humid, like something was breathing with me. The voice came closer, clearer now, right outside the door. "Please, open up. I'm scared." Then softer, right behind the door. "Please." I stared at the doorknob. It began to turn. My chest tightened. I checked the clock on my phone. 2:41 a.m. Just 4 more minutes. The voice began to sob, but it didn't sound like a kid anymore. It was deeper, sharper, like it was testing the sound of crying. "Please, let me in." Then a pause, and a whisper so close I could feel it against the door. "You're smarter than the others, Ethan." The air turned cold, completely still. Then, silence. At 2:45, I stepped out. The hallway was empty. The floor under the door was wet. A single set of bare footprints leading toward the back exit, then vanishing halfway. That's when I noticed the security camera monitor near the register. The feed was static, except for one frame, the parking lot. A dark shape standing in the middle of it, and next to it, a small figure, holding its hand, both staring at the camera. By 3:15 a.m., my nerves were fried. The coffee was gone, and I was starting to hear my heartbeat louder than the hum of the lights. That's when I remembered Rule 3. Check pump number 3 at 3:15 a.m. If the nozzle is missing, put it back. Don't look inside the car. I sighed. "Fine," I muttered. "Let's play along." I stepped outside. The air was freezing now, colder than it should have been for the desert. Pump number 3 stood there, alone. A black sedan was parked beside it, headlights off, windows tinted. The handle was on the ground, nozzle dripping slowly. I picked it up. That's when I made my first mistake. I looked inside the car. Just for a second. Something looked back. I don't know what I saw. Eyes too big, skin stretched tight like paper, and a smile that reached from ear to ear. It didn't move, but its mouth opened, and I swear, I heard my own voice whisper from inside the car. "You shouldn't have done that." I stumbled back, dropped the nozzle, and ran inside. Every light in the station began flickering. The radio turned on by itself, screeching with static. Rule 4. Change the station immediately. Do not listen. I grabbed the dial and twisted it fast. But before the static disappeared, I heard something behind it. Whispers, hundreds of them, overlapping, all saying the same thing. "He broke the rule. He broke the rule." Then, silence. The lights came back on. The radio was quiet. The desert, still again. I sat on the floor, shaking, staring at that crumpled rule sheet. I finally understood what Harlan meant. The rules weren't a joke. They were survival instructions. But I had already broken one, and the night wasn't over yet. After the radio stopped, I sat there for what felt like hours. But the clock said only 3:25 a.m. The hum of the fluorescent lights came back. The air warmed up slightly, and the stillness returned. It should have felt peaceful, but I knew something had changed. Every shadow in that gas station looked deeper now, thicker, like it was watching me. I wanted to leave. God, I wanted to just grab my bag, get in my car, and never look back. But the desert outside was pitch black, and the rules were still echoing in my head. I decided to stay until sunrise, just follow the rest of the rules. Try to survive the shift. At 4 a.m., the radio turned on again. I was ready this time. The speakers hissed with static. Then slowly, faintly, a man's voice came through. Calm, familiar. "Ethan, don't touch that dial." It was my dad's voice. He'd been dead for 3 years. My hand froze over the radio knob. "You've been gone so long, son. Don't you miss home?" The voice cracked halfway through, like it was struggling to keep its tone human. Then I remembered Rule 4. Change the station immediately. Do not listen. I twisted the dial hard. The static screamed. Then the voice warped, deeper, distorted. Too late, and the radio exploded with a loud pop, smoke rising from the speakers. For a moment, I couldn't hear anything but a ringing in my ears. Then the lights flickered. Once, twice, and went out completely. Darkness swallowed the entire station. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam caught something on the glass door. Handprints, dozens of them, pressed from the inside, and behind them, a face, pale, grinning, pressed against the glass, inches from me. I stumbled back, heart slamming in my chest. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw movement. In the reflection of the drink cooler beside me, someone was standing behind me. Not someone. Something. The next rule hit me like a gut punch. At 4:44 a.m., you might see someone behind the counter in the reflection. Don't turn around. Wait until it's gone. I froze. The reflection showed its head tilting slowly, unnaturally, like its neck was made of rubber. I could hear its breathing, raspy, hungry. It was standing so close, I could almost feel its warmth on my back. The clock ticked in my head. 4:41, 4:42, 4:43. Each second dragged like an hour. My flashlight flickered. In the reflection, the thing smiled wider. Teeth too many to count. 4:44. The reflection went black, and the breathing stopped. When I finally turned around, nothing was there, just empty air. But on the counter where I'd been standing, there was a small, blood-stained note. Shaking, I picked it up. Only one sentence was written on it. "You shouldn't have looked inside the car." That was it for me. I called Harlan. He didn't answer. I left a message, locked the doors, and waited outside till sunrise. As soon as the first light hit the desert, I got in my car and drove. Didn't even grab my paycheck. I swore I'd never go back. But the story didn't end there. For a week, I locked myself in my apartment and always thought about that same night, but then decided to forget everything, just like a nightmare. But then I opened the news, where the news reporter was saying that yesterday, people had found the body of a 19-year-old night shift employee at Red Mesa fuel stop inside the station, and police said it looked like he was attacked by an animal. After hearing the news, I got froze for 5 minutes because I know that's not an animal. That's something else.